Hey guys, I'm your host Franz, and this is the Newly Financial Podcast. Basically, this is just some place where we can go over anything related to financials or investing or anything that comes to my mind related to that process. But with that being said, I just want to hop right into it again. Here we go, guys. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to really touch base on here today was investing tips. I want to give you guys some ideas and some things that I really messed up on when I first started getting into investing, you know what I mean, and trying to save financially and building wealth. Hopping into my first investing tip, the first thing I want to cover here was do not chase the trend, or what it's better known as is FOMO. What FOMO is pretty much, when you're looking at a stock and let's say it's at an average price and you're thinking about getting in, but you're just not quite sure. You see it skyrocket the next day and you think, wow, I should get in right now. Sometimes it is good to get in on that opportunity, but 9 times out of 10, if it's been going up a day or two, maybe even 3, and you're still looking at it and you're thinking, wow, I really should have got into that. That's a good play that I would have made. That is the worst opportunity to buy. Do not buy it, because the moment you buy, it's just going to crash. And that's where people get it confused. They buy high and sell low, and everyone knows the cliche, buy low, sell high. But with emotions and everything else that goes on with trading, that's very, very, very complicated to do. You have to separate yourself from the numbers, It's all a numbers game. It can't be about cash. It's got to be about making the right decision. Honestly, the best gains that I've ever made in my own personal portfolio, and keep in mind, I'm 19 years old with over 6 figures, I've done a pretty solid job myself. The best thing that I've seen is when you invest into any stock ever, usually when it goes down, if it has solid financials or it's just a solid company that you believe in, there's no reason why you shouldn't put even more money into it, because when it comes back up, you just bought it at a discount. And that's what people don't really understand. They get too caught up on the numbers and say, wow, I'm down 1,000, I'm down 3,000, 30,000, 300,000, whatever the number may be. It's all about a mindset, and the bigger the numbers, the worse it gets. So that's why I recommend starting off with a small account, starting off with, this is one of the tips that I'm going to bring up here later, but ETFs, index funds, that's one of the best things you guys can do getting into investing. There's really nothing better than an index fund for passive investors or anyone just looking to get into the stock market. Passive investing and all that other stuff, it can be done, but it is very challenging for the average investor or the average person. So with index funds or ETFs, basically what it does is it tracks whatever type of company you pick. So the top 2 that I would recommend are SPY or VU. They track the top 500 biggest companies in the stock market. So, and honestly, nowadays they're made up of Apple, Tesla, Google. It goes off of percentages and market cap. So the average yearly return from SPY and VU over a long term, that's the point of investing too. You want to have a long-term portfolio. The average percent for the yearly gains is about 7%. Some years are better, some years are worse. It's all about not necessarily timing the market, but I got in on a really lucky time. I started investing at the bottom of the coronavirus crash, a little bit before. So I actually lost about $10,000 because of the coronavirus crash, but then I took everything I had, dumped it into when everything was down to the bottom. Warren Buffett sold out of Boeing. That's one of my biggest positions right now. And with this vaccine, this vaccine may take it to a whole nother level I've never seen. Boeing's actually my biggest position right now, and it's giving me the most profits I've ever had. We're going to go over that here later, but I don't know. You just have to do some solid DD on companies and figure out what works best for you. That's what I figured out. So But yeah, buying into those index funds, that kind of leads into my next topic too. For one of my next investing tips is diversifying and having a long-term and short-term portfolio. So, and I just brought that up a second ago, but one, you want to diversify your portfolios in-house. So, let's say you have, I don't know, we'll do $100,000 to make it easy. You got $100,000 in your portfolio and you want to break that up. Well, usually my perspective is I try to have some cash balance. So let's say you're keeping 10% cash balance, you know what I mean? And then that leaves you with 90,000 in your investments, which is, that's a little risky, but if you're young, go for it. If you're old, maybe keep a little bit more cash balance depending on how much you got in that account. But going into that, you definitely want to start out with that long term and you want to diversify that. So I have a lot of my long term, I think I have a good 30% in some sort of ETS, whether it's SPY, VU, or another one that I like is Soxel. That one tracks the tech industry and semiconductors. It's been doing amazing recently. It's up like 500% over the last 5 years. It's ridiculous. I think it's close to like 700 actually. I definitely check that out if you guys are listening. But yeah, you definitely want to diversify your portfolios, whether that's over different industries or, whether that's index funds and regular stock companies, or you want growth stocks and value stocks, or you'd rather have a dividend company, or, let's say you're an options guy, you're from Wall Street Bets, you're more of a gambler, maybe you want to have an options account and a long-term account. You always want to be prepared with some sort of emergency, assets, and that's why I say having a long-term account is the best thing. But on top of that, everybody's interested into that fast money. Everybody wants to make money, tomorrow, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it can be done, and it's really, if you take the time to learn what to do, it's really not that hard and it's quite easy. But start a little short-term trading account. So you want to take some risky bets, you want to buy that Tesla option, you want to buy those risky stocks, you want to buy NEO, that we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, or DraftKings. Start out with a little account, it may blow up, and then you can take that money, put it into your long-term, or maybe not even put it into your long term. Maybe go out, buy that Lexus that you want, take that vacation, get that PS5. Everybody wants that PS5. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for my investing tips. I just wanted to go over a little bit, pretty much like a couple things that would help me out as a beginning investor and getting into the stock market. Everyone makes mistakes, so I do recommend starting out small. But yeah, it's just a couple things that I want to cover here, so I appreciate you guys going over that with me. Another big thing that we're going to talk about here today is, did the bubble pop or did the market cool down today for a rally? So today, if you've been paying attention or if you're into the stock market already, the past month, or even, 2 months going on 3 months here, have been on a crazy rally ever since the coronavirus came out of a crash. And, especially after this election too, the election had a huge rally. We kind of went down, and I don't know about you guys, but my portfolio went down, actually, give me 1 second, I'll pull it up here for you guys. Yeah, my portfolio is down 4% overall for the long term. So, that's a pretty substantial move, especially because we started out in the morning almost looking like we were going to, either trade flat or go on an uptrend. So, I don't know. I'm expecting everyone wants to be an optimist here, especially with the vaccines coming out. But I don't know. That's something I want to talk about here too. The vaccine only has I read on an article. It works for 90 days only. I'm not quite sure if that's correct, but you have to get multiple rounds of vaccine. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I don't know if the market has that priced in already. If they're still looking for. I don't know. They just think it's a regular vaccine. You get one shot and you're done. But that's going to be very interesting to see in the future and see if that has any, fluctuations on the market, or maybe that is what this crash was about. But you know, I wouldn't necessarily, we're in a bubble, but prices do seem to be a little over inflated. If you looked at any chart recently here, you know, some stocks have really just rallied straight up, but that may be due to, you know, all this extra stimulus and stuff that's been going on recently. We're going to talk about that later, you know, how the green energy and stimulus are getting tied together and how that's making green energy stocks go through the roof. You know, you guys are really going to be interested in that. But yeah, honestly, personally, I'm just going to be an optimist. I'm going to say maybe the market's taking a little bit of a cool down. You know, we've been on a rally here for quite some time, you know, and the market can't go straight up. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to go down for a little bit, level off, and I think it's going to shoot back up a lot more. And then I think right around December, maybe the start of February, we're going to see a little bit of a crash or a level off, and then we're really going to have to go from there because, you know, you can't predict the future, but if you look at the market, you can definitely predict trends. So, and that's what it's really all about. If you guys are invested into NEO or another one of the meme stocks here is DraftKings, you know, DraftKings has actually been doing insanely well with the sports betting coming up. I actually have some DraftKings myself. I have some buddies who own some DraftKings, and they're really, really impressed with it, you know, and they're going to keep holding it for a long time. They, you know, they're into sports betting themselves, so why not? That's their DD, you know, that's a lot of the younger generation's DD. They just, if they like a company, they go with it. You know, someone tweet Jim Cramer if you know what I'm talking about on that one. But, yeah, NEO has been cooling down here, but, you know, it has been looking pretty solid for swing trading. You know, maybe you could get in on a low price, sell it at the top on, you know, peak time of the day, whatever, make a couple bucks here and there. I was gonna actually try to make a play here or there, but I just can't find a good position point. But you know, that's just something to keep an eye on. But also another big stock that came out today was DoorDash. You know, that IPO today, and if you would have bought that at 60, it went up to 120. So that's a quick, easy 100% flip on your money there. So put 10k in, you get 20k out. And if you would have bought options contracts, which is I'm going to start going over that here a little bit in the later episodes, but that's a little more complicated and for more experienced traders. So I'm going to see how that works out with you guys. But if you guys know about options contracts, man, if you would have bought some on DoorDash, you would have been rolling in the dough today. You could have retired, you know what I mean? Another big thing that went on today was Apple is back up to $125 per share. And that's kind of impressive because the last time it was close to these levels, it was back in August. And now we're all the way in December. So, you know, if you've been holding Apple, you've been bag holding it for some time. But, you know, maybe with this new iPhone reports and all the extra, you know, quarterly earnings reports and stuff like that are coming out, I'm really expecting to see some gains coming up here, maybe after this little either bubble pop or market cool down happens, because, you know, Apple is always going to be a solid stock, and especially with the release of their new phones. And, you know, they also have headphones, I think, that came out a couple days ago, a week ago or something like that. That's definitely going to increase sales. So that's all stuff to look forward to. Another big thing that we're going to talk about here, guys, is how the green energy industry and basically anything like semiconductors or anything renewable energy wise is really getting a huge boost here. If you look into the stock market, you know, pretty much all the energy stocks or anything related to clean energy has just been skyrocketing. And that, you know, Joe Biden, if he does take office, those stocks are, you know, presumed to go up. And that's definitely a positive thing. But, you know, one of the biggest things that is affecting it is with the stimulus packages that are going out to not only just the regular civilization, but also to governments and, you know, different international organizations. They are only promising the capital or whatever help that they need if they start implementing green energy services, you know, in their whatever it may be, whether it's a state, county, country, whatever that may be. And that's making all these stocks skyrocket. So that's definitely something, if you can find a good price point to get in, or especially with this crash that just happened, this may be a great buying opportunity for these green energy stocks, you know, especially with this crash that happened like I've really been eyeing some up myself, and I can give you some recommendations if you check out my Twitter or Instagram, or even my TikTok or LinkedIn. I'll probably put some recommendations up on there for you guys for some green energy stocks if you'd like. Also, I just want to take a quick minute, guys, to let you know that our website is up. I'm going to leave a link in the description. It's not fully 100%, but it is like a little demo website. I want to offer you guys a free course. I'm just going to give everything away for free. I want to help everybody learn about investing as easy and as much as possible, and I would really appreciate if you guys check that out and you just shared my video, gave it a thumbs up, and continued watching, because that's the most I can ask for. I really appreciate this, and I really just appreciate everybody watching, and I'm just glad to be sitting here talking about this and growing this channel. So yeah. One of the other cool things about the stock market is that you don't always have to, like I said, like in the earlier part of the video, you can have a long-term portfolio or you can have a short-term portfolio. The differences between having those portfolios are, with your long-term portfolio, obviously you want to have your safe investments, your ETFs, your Coca-Cola, your whatever, whatever it is you're choosing. But with your short term, you can do different types of trading styles, and that's where swing trading or day trading comes in. And for all you new investors who are trying to, make that quick flip, or this is what you want to be listening to, this is definitely for you. Swing trading is necessarily where you're looking at charts, you're looking at companies, and you see a company that's down low and you expect it to go up high. The classic buy low, sell high. You know what I mean? That's basically swing trading. And I would define myself as a swing trader just because, I usually, if I'm going to day trade a company, I will not buy. If I day trade a company, the company has to be something that I would hold long term. So that way, say if it does tank, I can hold it, because stocks usually go on an incline on the long term, at least in the American economy. If you bet on the NASDAQ or anything in the American stock market, you're betting on the American economy, and that's usually guaranteed to go up. Day trading just gets a little more confusing because, sometimes if you're a classic day trader, it's very, very hard to be profitable because, you're looking at all these different companies, you're looking at all these different charts, and you got to get in, get out, limit orders, you got to price yourself in, you got to hedge out of your positions at certain prices. It gets very confusing very quickly. So that's why I highly recommend, if you're going to try to, quick flip, if you have the time, start researching options. I'm going to make a course here soon and definitely release a video about options that will help you guys learn, because that's where the big money's at. Last but not least here, guys, the last thing I want to go over here were my top 3 growth stocks for the next month or two, I could say. Well, my first one obviously is going to be Boeing, because that's what we were talking about before. Boeing has been up about like $50 to $70 in the past month to 2, almost 3 months, going on. So I've been bag holding this for quite some time. I got that 100 shares at 172, so it's pretty impressive. It's sitting at 230 now. It was up at like 240, and it is projected to go back up to around 290, 270 if you look at the options change. But we did have a little bit of a little drop down. But tomorrow morning it's 12/9/2020. It is Wednesday. Happy whatever. I started recording in Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago. So it's Christmas. Time's been flying. But yeah, definitely keep a lookout for Boeing and see if that's going to keep going up anymore. Another good one that you guys should definitely keep a lookout on, and especially now with this dip, it is a great buying opportunity. It's called DACO New Energy. Pretty much the stock just goes over, and it's an energy stock. It's a green energy stock, so they're definitely going to be going up here in the coming months. That's something that I've been focusing on. Its CEO is Jen Zhang, or Long Jen Zhang. It was founded in 2007. It's got a $570 million market cap. So, for it being a smaller company for $42 a share, it's not a bad deal. Their dividends, it's not anything spectacular. I don't even really know if they have a dividend, to be honest with you. But the one thing I can tell you though is that if you're swing trading, it's definitely not a bad deal to get into. That's why I've been getting into it. I don't know 100% about the company, so I wouldn't say anything about it long term. But if you look at the monthly and weekly charts, it's definitely got some nice spike ups if you guys are trying to make a quick flip. All right, another good one for you guys here would be the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF. Yeah, I know it's a tongue twister. It took me quite a while to figure out how to say that one successfully. But yeah, it's up 106% for the year. And if you look, the stock is fairly cheap at $23.15, but it's up $12 up in the year. You know what I mean? So if you would have bought all the way down at the very bottom of the Corona crash, you could have got in at $8.70 is about the average price. Sitting at $23.15 now, that's more than doubling your money in 9 months, 8 months. So that's a solid investment. So I would keep a lookout for that, especially with the rise of green energy and everything that I talked about earlier. All right, last but not least, guys, the last thing I wanted to talk about here was NVIDIA. They've been in a little bit of a hole here the last couple of months. They've been up on a crazy rally this year. If you look up at this yearly chart here, it's up 145% in the year. That's $308 a share, and right now it's starting to level off. It's been holding pretty steady throughout this little bubble that they're calling it. So I don't know, right now maybe a pretty good time to get yourself priced in. If it dips down below 500, I don't know, that may not be a bad price point, and that's something I would definitely be interested in getting into. All right, guys, that's going to be all for my podcast here today. I know, this one's a little short, just like all the other ones, but until I can get the flow going and start getting some guests on the podcast and start, getting some people on the show here, they are going to be a little bit short. I'm looking to produce a little bit more content for the channel, and especially for my social media. Please start following me on there. I'm trying to post daily, 2-3 times a day, just trying to put out as much investing information and financial information as I can into the market, onto the internet. I just want to help you guys out as much as possible. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for listening, and I wish you all the best of luck with your financial futures and advice and anything else that you guys would need. I'm always here to help, especially me being a small channel and having a decent amount of investment advice. Feel free to drop a comment or get in touch with me on my social media. I'd be more than happy to help. I'm looking at setting up a Discord here soon, and my website's also a great way to get in contact with me. I have my email and stuff on there. But yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.